During the process of replacing the head gaskets on the engine, we're doing a lot of work to increase the reliability of the setup. This video is going to be about some wiring changes. The three overall ways of increasing the reliability are minimizing wire movement, using tubing to strengthen harness, and cutting excess length in the wiring. So as far as wire movement, the more wire moves, the faster it's going to break. That's pretty simple. We can look at some of the ways that the manufacturer sets up wiring and other hoses to maximize the reliability of different things. The most clear way on this car is with the heater hoses. So you can see that the heater core connection's over here, whereas the connection to the engine is over here. So the hoses, the movement of the engine is forward back when the car is switching from drive to reverse and accelerating. So having the hoses have length parallel to the movement or perpendicular to the movement, it minimizes the amount of movement on any one point in the hose. You'll never see a heater hose going straight from the firewall to the engine, because when the engine moves, it's gonna pull on that hose and stress it. So having this parallel length to the crankshaft of the engine, it really helps decrease the wear on the hoses, and we can use that same principle for wiring. So you can see here where the harness goes from the engine to the firewall, we have this accordion type bend here. So when the engine moves, it's just going to slightly move that instead of pulling on the wire right out of the firewall. The other ways the wires can move a lot is when taking stuff apart. So these injector harnesses had a really bad issue breaking. These gray ones were the original ones on the build, but you can see 4 of them are now black. So these wires keep breaking. Now, to decrease the stress on the wires, added this wire hose. So now when this moves around, instead of stressing one specific point on the harness, it's a more smooth transition. And having the hose attached to the main hose and attached to the connectors here also prevents pulling on the hose, stressing the connectors there too. So you can see here, this pulled out of here. It probably was pulled on a little bit, or maybe bent, flexed a lot over time. But having this hose like this is gonna prevent that from happening at that joint anymore. I added a lot of tubing in different parts of this, all 6 injector lines. This tubing's new. I added more sections of tubing here. All that to increase the reliability of the wiring. You can see here also completely redid the wiring for the boost control. So we have a solenoid that will send turbo pressure to the wastegate actuator based on the settings of the boost controller. We've now mounted this solidly in place to the frame of the car. You can see the wiring goes down there, all in tubing. So when the turbo moves with the engine. So now all these hoses have a little bit of parallel routing, so that when the engine moves, it doesn't strain it as much. And same with this loop here. So as this moves back and forth, this loop will kind of absorb that movement. Another thing is managing excess length of wires. This hasn't really had an issue, but it's been just way too long. The connection was just kind of dangling down near the base of the steering column where it connects to the rack and pinion. But now all the wiring and tubing that's coming from the passenger compartment. So we have the connector for the wideband setup. We have 2 wires in here. One is a trigger for the water injection pump, or it triggers the relay actually for the water injection pump. And then we have the boost gauge reference hose here. So these 3 are all routed together from the firewall. And we're gonna figure out a way to route this. Might just tie a bunch of it together to shorten it. It's not quite long enough to loop along with the other wires. I might just do this sort of thing, attach here, or maybe farther over here, maybe attach this to here, and then this down here, so then you have this whole loop to absorb movement. But I also want to maximize the ability to work on the engine easily, take stuff apart without breaking things. We don't want wires flailing around to be wearing out and breaking from that. So another thing for wire management with regard to excess length was changing up the mass airflow sensor wiring has been changed a number of times. At one point it was down with the air filter below the headlight. Now it's changed to here. So there was a whole bunch of extra wire hose for it. Now it was coming out here. This was where the original mass airflow sensor wire comes out of the harness. So it was kind of coming out here, and then there was hose going every which way to connect it to the new mass airflow sensor, which is an LS7 style card in the charge pipe that goes right here. But now all those wires are tucked in the harness, protected with all the rest. We've also switched up the IAT setup a few times. So this connector is connected to the LS7 connector. And then this is the factory IAT plug, which has been extended. It used to come out of the harness right here because the factory IAT sensor is in a rubber hose right here. But I extended that through here previously to connect to an IAT in the lower intake manifold. That has since been deleted. I'm no longer running that IAT, but I want to be able to run it again in the future. So this harness plug comes out of the main harness right here, and I can move it here to plug into the LS7 connector, or if I want to put in the other lower intake manifold again, I can just unplug it and it's the perfect length to plug in right there. So we're maximizing our wire organization while allowing for future improvements. The Mini AFC edition is a little bit sloppy. That's really hard to integrate well. But I got to figure out a way to mount that so that these, you can see right there, this connection point is going to be a very high stress point if this is not secured properly. So we got to figure that out yet too.